Two major things I want to talk to you about in which you could buy real estate using these two accounts are your 401k and your Roth IRA. Welcome back to my channel, first time real estate investor, Daquan Jones here. I know it's been one whole month since I made my last video, and unfortunately my reason for that is because I wanted as many people to get all the value from the previous video before I went on to making my next video, part 2 of which how to invest in real estate. And most of you guys may know that there's many ways to invest in real estate, but when it comes to getting a loan, sometimes getting money from other sources is kind of illegal and you won't get the money you need to buy your first house. So the reason why I want to talk about these two funds is because I have one myself. I just started my Roth IRA, in which I'm adding money to it, doing some rollovers. I'm not the professional on it. I understand it well enough to invest in it, to take a loan out to buy my own piece of property. These two things are great investments, great investments. And I want to talk about them more to kind of give you guys a whole perspective of how to use these, two funds. I want to break things down today. I got my whole little board in which I'm gonna write some things down, write some numbers down. I'm gonna do some math in which I suck at. So let's see how good I do at that. Let's get it. Be honest, I miss you guys a lot. Like, I really do, and I've been kind of trying to make a video, but no excuses. So let's talk about the two things. First, I want to talk about what most of you guys may heard of when it comes to in retiring, and it's very popular because most jobs does have a 401k. And let's just talk about that first before we get into the second thing. So let's talk about I'm sorry, I don't have anything to hang this on, but let's talk about your 401k. What is a 401k? That's the question. Now, most of you guys may not know and you guys need to know, because this is very important, and see what your job offers. So a 401k is an employer retirement plan or program or fund that most employers match at least 3% up to 7% of your salary to. So the reason why this is cool, and I'm saying it's cool because it benefited me. This is kind of great. I mean, in a way, same thing with the IRA. They both have pros and cons, and I want to break different scenarios down when it comes to this. So 401k is cool because your company match half up to a certain cap of your salary. So when it comes to 401k, normally you could max out at, let's just write this down, $18,000. That's yearly. So you could max out at this number yearly. This is not including the amount your company match. So let's just do we gonna keep simple math here. Let's just say you have $100,000 salary, and that's how much you're making. So normally, if your company is doing, if they're doing a half match up to 6%, then you seeing $6,000 extra on top of this $18,000, because this is how much you contribute just from your regular salary without even having to match. So let's just break it down. Let's talk more about this. And I know that's probably a little confusing to you when it comes to percentage. I'm gonna just break it down to where it's more understandable, in which I'm using my 401k for. So my company, what they do is they match half up to 7% of your salary, however much. And don't think it's unlimited. You can't just say, oh, I got $200,000 in it, my company's gonna match the other half. It's really not that simple. They only match half up to 7% of your salary. So just think about that for a minute. They match half up to 7% of your salary. So like I said, with the simple math, if you was to do $100,000 and that was how much you was making yearly, and they matched half up to 6%, then they will be matching $6,000 on top of what you contribute into your 401k. So let's talk about all the perks. Let's talk about the cons. Let's talk about how you can use this money to invest in real estate. Now, if you do have a 401k and you don't really know what to do with it, and you're young, I would suggest you to kind of be, trying to get a financial advisor, an investment advisor, first things first, because sometimes you can make easy mistakes when it comes to your 401k. And the older you are, the more you're kind of at that period in which, you know, you want to make sure everything is compact and, you know, you understand your investments before, you know, you retire. So let's just break this down so you guys can understand. So, and here's my suggestion. So the good thing about 401k is you can withdraw money, you know, at any time. You also have to, you know, pay the money back. Now, there's no ways for you to take money out. When it comes to, you know, withdrawing money from your 401k, that's a bad thing, because normally you get, you know, penalized 20% taxes, 20% of penalization fees, and you don't want that. So the best option I would go with when it comes to taking money out your 401k is always a loan. You know, you will pay a lot less money in interest rates, and not only that, you're paying yourself the interest rates than you would to do if you was to go to a bank, you know, trying to get a loan. You got, and some people have problems when it comes to, like, you know, trying to get a loan. Your credit score might be low. You might have problems with credit cards. So if you was to take, you know, money from your 401k, make sure it's something very important. Make sure it's something like, you know, you're doing it to pay off credit card loans because you want to buy a house. You know, you're doing it to actually buy a house, and you're just doing it for, like, you know, medical bills, simple emergencies. And like I said, the good thing about it is that you could take a loan out up to $50,000. You don't want to overdo it. You know, you don't want to bite on more than what you can handle. So try to do as much as you know you're able to do, because like I said, it's still a loan. You still have to pay the loan back, and you only get 5 years max to pay this loan. You can use it for anything. And the best way, and you know, and this is me, and this is how I feel about it, and I'm not listening, I'm not watching anybody, this is just my personal experience. When it comes to your retirement and you want to invest in your retirement, when it comes to having a 401k and taking money out as a loan, the best thing about it is that not only are you taking money out to buy real estate, what people fail to realize is that real estate is just as big of an investment as it is to retire when it comes to having a 401k. Having multiple properties by the time you retire is pretty much the best retirement you could possibly have, because not only are you sustaining yourself, you also sustaining generations, you know, your grandkids, your family, and it's kind of a better way to retire. You know, it's a better way to live your life by having multiple properties, because you're receiving cash flow, a lot of cash flow in these properties. And that's the amazing part about, you know, taking money out your retirement and investing it into something such as real estate, because you're getting the money, you know, you're getting the retirement investment portion out of it just by taking money out. Although you're paying a loan back, you know, you secure your investment. You know, you got the property, you're only paying, you know, the interest rate to yourself. You're paying it back, and you can always take it out again once you finish with that first loan. So, you know, that's a good thing. Now, when it comes to a 401k, again, you know, I'm gonna still talk about this for a little bit. Guys, if you don't understand it, if you don't know if you are in a 401k, I suggest you find out as soon as you see this video. Talk to your employer, see how much they matching you at. Some, you know, usually minimum is 3%. Just see, you know, it's 3% up to half. So just see, you know, if your employer does do it. And most of the time, normally you're enrolled in a 401k without you even knowing. So I suggest you guys to start looking into that and making sure that you actually do have a 401k, because, you know, you might be surprised that you might have about $40,000 in your 401k, and you're just sitting there, it's not doing nothing. 401k does have its pros. So like I said, you know, you can take money out, you can use it to invest in real estate, you know, and when you invest in something such as, you know, a investment like real estate, you know, it's beneficial to you when you retire. All it is something to kind of keep you employed to the company, you know. So the whole matching thing is, you know, it's like a courtesy thing in which, you know, they want to keep you there, spread the positivity within the company, show how good the company is. But it's also a retirement program. When you invest it in a 401k, you know, all your money is split into, you know, index or mutual funds. Now, it's not split unless you option it out to split. Most of the times when you start a 401k, it's usually set in a 2050, a 2040, you know, Vanguard account, which is, you know, a mutual fund. Or, you know, you can option out to play aggressive, which, you know, you have multiple accounts in which, you know, you increasing your money depending on the market. It all depends on the stock market, or you can lower your money depending on the stock market. But, you know, at the end of the day, the younger you are, the more aggressive you can be. You know, you have chances to where, you know, you can kind of increase your money more by playing aggressive if you're younger. So if you do have a 401k, I will highly suggest, you know, you don't have nothing to lose. You know, play aggressive, start putting your money into different mutual funds, start also checking the fees, you know, check your fees, because sometimes different fees might be a little higher depending on your employer and depending on what they have you in. So mine's is set for Vanguard 2050, which is one. Most of my money is going, well, not most, but I got 8% going into my 401k. I might go to 11%. 401k, it helped me, you know, take money out to buy into real estate. And the reason for that is because I've been saving, I've been adding money throughout the years of me, you know, being employed to my employer. So that's a great way to invest in real estate. Talk about the cons now. I know it's a lot to grasp, but this is pretty, you know, this is important information. So when it comes to, you know, 401k, the difference between, you know, a 401k and a Roth IRA is that the 401k is actually pre-tax. Now it is post-tax until your company, your employer add their contributions in it, and then, you know, you got to pay taxes on that. Whenever it comes down to, you know, retirement, on doing any, you know, rollovers to an IRA account, you have to pay taxes on that money. Like, listen to what I just said. You have to pay taxes on that money. What makes this even kind of worse, depending on the market, and you also got to account for inflation. If you was to do math on this, if you was to talk to a financial advisor, I will always, you know, do like a gross adjusted inflation rate, which is 3%, considering, you know, it was 2.4 last year. So I will kind of add that on. I will kind of not multiply, I will add that just to kind of, you know, combat inflation when it comes to adding money into your 401k. Just to kind of, you be above or, you know, just in the middle. It just gives you extra room to play with, just in case if you got to pay a lot of taxes when it comes down to retirement time. And when it comes down to conversion, you have to pay the IRS, and you have to pay a penalty fee, which is the bad part. Best way you could kind of get out of it, highly suggest if you just start a separate IRA account. You know, you pay the taxes on what you're taking out and you converting it over. If you was to kind of convert it over to, if you want to convert it over to a Roth IRA, just pay the taxes on it right then and there. You know, pay out of pocket taxes on whatever you're taking out. Another con to this is that if you kind of relying on being somebody like me, in which my salary will increase a lot, because like I said, my whole goal is to be an investor. My whole goal is to have multiple properties, multiple units. If your goal is, you know, just that, then be worried, because whenever you're in a high tax bracket and you want to take money out, that's just, you know, more money that you have to pay in taxes. The company contribution is not taxed. So that's the bad thing about it. But there's also Roth 401ks, in which it's actually taxed before you, you know, before you actually put it in. So that's just pros and the cons about the 401k. I'm a firm believer in it. Without it, I wouldn't be investing in real estate. In fact, I'll probably have to save up more money to buy, you know, the house I want. 401k is great, guys. If you don't understand it, you could do more research. I'll leave links below on this video to show you guys. And you could just follow these links. It'll take you to multiple channels in which, you know, I use to learn more about, you know, 401ks. So check them out. Next thing I want to talk about is the Roth IRA. What is an IRA? Specifically a Roth IRA. We're not talking about traditional, we're talking about Roth, because we comparing the two into investing in real estate. And in order for me to kind of distinguish all four, then I'll just have to make a whole nother video. But, you know, what an IRA is pretty much an individual investment retirement program in which you just pretty much do on your own, similar to a 401k, but you know, the difference is your employer is not matching it. It's something that you're doing on your own. And there's a lot of rules and regulations by the IRS. The good thing is this is taxes. It's already taxed, meaning that you don't have to pay tax once you retire. So the way it works, before I just kind of, you know, confuse you guys. So if you was to get paid, let's just say, you know, you get paid weekly and you're contributing to a 401k, what happens is, like I said before, the contributions that's coming from your employer isn't taxed. When it comes to IRA and the money you put in the IRA, it's already taxed because it's the money after taxes, after you get taxed. So that money is pretty much going into, which is post-tax, but that money is pretty much going into the contributions and your Roth IRA, which is why it's called a Roth, R-O-T-H, because, you know, it's post-tax. It's similar, like I said, but it does have its pros, it does have its cons. You know, you can kind of combat these two and say, hey, this one is kind of beneficial for me. So if you don't have an employer that offers a 401k, go with a Roth IRA. You know, it's pretty cool. It does have its, you know, benefits when it comes to investing. And, you know, there's also, you know, good things about it in which, you know, you could actually use the money to kind of put it towards use when it comes to buying real estate. I'm not talking about buying a new car, although you can use it for buying a new car, but specifically I'm talking about buying another investment. But when it comes to a Roth IRA, as of 2019, anybody that's over the age 50, your total contributions yearly is $7,000. Anybody under the age of 50, you could now contribute $6,500 to your Roth IRA. It's obviously a lot less, but it's still money. So the best way for you to kind of see the most progression and you max it out. You don't want to just put less money in it. Try to max it out. Try to max it out till when you reach your $6,500 every year. The thing about this is that although it's a lot less than a 401k, like I said, you're not paying taxes on this when you do a withdrawal or you do a rollover or you take money out for your own use. It's already taxed, which is a great thing. It's a great thing. Pretty much how an IRA works. It's great when it comes to you saving up for your retirement investment. At the age of 59 and a half, once you reach that, you kind of withdraw. Anything less than that, anything less than 59 and a half, you could take out $10,000 before you reach that gap in which you will be taxed. So that's the good thing about the IRA as well. Although you're maxing out at $6,500 a year if you're under the age 50, anything over that $7,000, you're not going to see growth on your money just by adding that money into it. Just think about this, $6,500 a year for 30 years is not enough to invest in. So in order for you to kind of see more growth on your money, you want to do a mix index ETF fund in which you'll see a lot of growth, because you're getting not investment money, but your money is kind of increasing on its own. You're seeing growth, and like the similar thing with the 401k. The younger you are, the more aggressive you can kind of be when it comes to your retirement, because the stock market don't just drop, it goes up and down, and you might see a big increase on your money by the time you retire. So that's another good thing about using IRA. Anything over $137,000, if you filing single, you can't really contribute to an IRA. Most people choose IRAs because there are tax benefits. Your modified AGI, which is your adjusted gross income, have to be less than $137,000 a year. The phase out begins at $122,000 a year. Anything married, you file it jointly, you can actually do less than $199, and that makes you eligible. You phase out at $193,000. Comes to withdrawing and contribution, you can withdraw anytime, tax-free, penalty-free, 5 years after your first contribution. After 5 years, up to $10,000 of earnings, it can be withdrawn. Penalty-free covers the first-time home buyer expenses, which is a good thing when it comes to real estate. IRAs is great. It's a great investment when it comes to wanting to take out for real estate. It's always good to have two, a 401k and an IRA. You can always do rollovers. Those are pros and cons. So let's just talk about real estate now. So when it comes to me, I was actually fortunate enough to save up money, because I knew what I wanted to do. My whole goal was to buy real estate, buy 3 families, rent them out. That was my whole goal, and I was fortunate enough to save up money because of that. And I also was fortunate enough to have a 401k, which I was actually I was contributing 10%, meaning that I was literally probably was like $200 or more bi-weekly or weekly, and I was able to take money out my 401k. So 50% of your money, if you have let's just say you have $40,000, you could take out 20. Let's just say if you have $100,000, you can only take out 50. $120,000, you can take out 50. So that's pretty much how it works. I think it's a great program. I mean, it's a great saving mechanism, and that's pretty much how you invest in real estate. This is my part 2 video. Use whatever money you have in savings or investments and use that to reinvest. And just before I end this video, I just kind of want to do some simple math. Like, this is just really simple. So when it comes to using your 401k, and I'm gonna just focus on the 401k because I'm more familiar with this. I'm still new with the IRA, so let's do 401k. Let's just say you want to take from this, and I'm gonna just make up a number, an example. Let's just say you got $100,000 and you need to be there for years. Like, I'm not old enough to be in my company to have $100,000. Some people do. So let's say you have $100,000 in your 401k account and you're only 35. Let's just write that down. I'll draw a stick figure. I don't know if you guys can see this, but it's a 35-year-old right there. It's my boy. So this 35-year-old have $100,000. So he's retiring at 60. He's not familiar with investing. He don't know anything. And let's just give him a name. Let's call him. I got a good name for this guy. Rara. Rah. This is Rah here. So Rah been with the company for about 15 years. He started when he was 20 years old. Right now, at this point in time, you know, due to inflation, due to the economy, due to the market, he have $100,000 in it. He played aggressive. You know, he had his money in a couple of different funds. And let's just say, you know, these was going up and down. But regardless of how well these was doing, this is just a perfect example to kind of show you guys different index and mutual funds. So he got 100 grand at this point. Simple math. It's really easy to do 100 grand. And here he could take out 50 grand. He's 35 years old. You know, he have one home. He have 2 kids, have a wife, and he want to pretty much, you know, focus on retirement. And he has 50 grand he could take out. So here's word of advice that I would recommend to somebody like this. Now, first thing is first, put this money into real estate. Now you could do this either 2 ways. You could do a flip, a home flip, which most of you guys may be into. He could reinvest his money and then throw that money into an IRA, because he's paying the loans anyway. So, all right. So you could do a house flip, or you could do a regular home rental. Now you don't need the whole 50 grand, but you can also use the whole 50 grand on, you know, 2 properties, or depending on your area, depending on your market, you know, it really doesn't matter. It all depends on where you live at, because, you know, a house where Rah might live at, let's say Rah live in North Carolina, might only be $120,000. So in fact, if that's the case, and if we talking about that scenario, then he can invest in 2 homes, rent them out, or he can invest in a home somewhere else when the market is a little higher, flip it, reinvest his money, throw that money into his IRA, or he could just buy into real estate, keep it, pay the loan off on his 401k, and, you know, rent that house to earn cash flow. Now, the reason why this is a good thing, and the reason why I will cross house flipping out, although Rah could reinvest on his money, he just lost his total investment of his property. Now, properties is just like the stock market. Properties, you know, when it comes to real estate, you know, real estate grow by appreciation. Like 2%, 3% yearly, grows by appreciation. Now, you're going to earn appreciation off of this, and the more equity you add into the house, you know, the more money your investment may increase. So I will always suggest keep the home, rent them out, earn the cash flow while you at it. And if you want to sell, you know, by the time you retire, that's probably better, because obviously due to inflation, which if you want to consider 3% or 2% yearly, you know, you're going to pretty much have, you know, some type of wealth when it comes to your retirement. And I will highly suggest that. And this is just one scenario I'm using, which is why I highly suggest invest your 401k into another investment such as real estate, or you could do stock. I mean, I don't understand stocks as well, but, you know, you take money out, throw it to a stock that you could trust, and, you know, see your money increase. You know, it's a gamble when it comes to stock. Same thing with real estate, believe it or not. But I will highly suggest real estate, because although you might take a loss, but you still have that property. You know, you still own it, you can still make money, and you can add, you know, equity. You know, you can make it to however you want in order for you to increase the value of the home. So, you know, I'm gonna wrap this video up today. Hopefully you guys got enough information. You understand what I'm talking about when it comes to Roth IRAs, 401ks. And please check out my next video. I know it's been a long time. I'll try to make that video as soon as possible. That will be the last part 3 on how to invest in real estate. And I'm gonna end this video just like that. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe. Please share this video. Show everybody. If you ever wanted to know about, you know, 401ks and Roth IRAs, you know, spread the knowledge, spread the love, spread the value. And I appreciate everything you guys have done. You guys, you know, subscribe, you know, like. Thank you for everything.